It was Halloween night, and I decided to dress up as Scorpion. And my friend Peter decided to dress up as Sub-Zero. As we both went trick-or-treating to get some candy, we came across this strange house that had a Michael Myers statue holding a candy bowl. Which I saw everyone avoiding this house. I thought maybe the kids and people were just scared of Michael Myers. So me and my friend Peter decided we would go to the Michael Myers house and check it out. As we approached this strange house, we knocked on the door and said, "Trick or treat." As the old woman opened up the door and said, "Michael, you have a visitor." This kind of shook me a little bit because I thought Michael Myers was just a statue. As I seen Michael start to make his way up towards us, I said, "Nice costume," and he gave us some candy. Not too long after leaving that strange house, I looked back and saw Michael Myers holding the candy bowl. I was paranoid and scared at the same time because we was getting followed. Me and Peter started to make our way to my house. As we approached my house, Michael Myers was standing right behind us, holding a candy bowl. Me and Peter did not take any risks. We went into my house and saw my older sister, Bree, which we began to explain and told her that there was a guy dressed up as Michael Myers, and he followed us home. My sister looked out the window just to see he was gone. I started to think, we're safe, I hope. We heard a big splash through the kitchen window, and to my surprise, we saw Michael Myers climbing through our kitchen window. We all ran out the house and saw a cop nearby and told him about the incident. The cop took care of it. It turns out it was my sister Bree, drunk ex-boyfriend who was under drugs and was not happy about their relationship. I'm so happy that me and Peter got out of there in time because who knows what this man would have done to us both. It was Halloween night. Me, my friends, and I all wanted to go to this new haunted house, which is not too far from where I lived. I asked my mom if it was okay if I went to this new haunted house we had in town. My mom agreed and said, "Sure, you can go, just be careful." As I waited for my friends to get dropped off at my house so we could go to the haunted house, I began to start watching some YouTube videos to pass the time by much faster. Not too long after my friends Tom, Greg, and Elizabeth all got dropped off and asked if I was ready to leave to the haunted house. As we approached the haunted house entrance, there was a line and there was a guy who had on a clown mask giving out a paper which said, "Sign this if you're ready to have some fun." Me and my friends signed the paper, not even thinking about what the consequences could be. After we waited in line for about 20 minutes, I told my friends, "Let's hope this haunted house is not a dead zone." My friends laughed and said, "No, we're all good." As I approached the front desk, with the creepy old lady laughed and said, "Are you ready to have some fun?" I said, "Sure," and gave my tickets and began to make my way in, which was a dark, creepy tunnel for the first part, and had curtains that a guy with a chainsaw would pop out from time to scare people. I kept walking through the tunnel. As I reached the end, I saw another room which had bodies hung up and clowns saying creepy jokes. I walked past that and got to a dark room, which I began to hear a chainsaw and would see red flashing lights on the clown who was holding the chainsaw. As he chased us through the maze in the haunted house, I got scared running from this guy because we all went our separate ways. We all ended up splitting up, and I could not call my friends because my phone was about to die and I had no charger with me. And my friends left their phone at my house to charge. So we was all out of luck to get light or even get service. I finally found my friends as I saw the chainsaw man start to chase after us. After we made a run and found an exit, we ran out the door fast as we could, not looking back, not even finishing the haunted house that we ended up paying for. Because something about that guy was off. Something about him was strange. As me and my friends all made it to my house, safe and sound, we ended up waiting for my mom to get home to tell her what happened at the haunted house and to see what she thought about it. Me and my friends began to turn on a scary movie and eat some candy while we waited on my mom to get back to the house. As an hours went by, my mom finally made it back, and me and the rest of my friends was getting tired and sleepy from waiting all day. So I figured I would wait and tell my mom what happened in the morning because I was tired and so was the rest of my friends was as all. The next morning arrived and I saw my mom, and as I was about to tell her what happened, she was watching the news. I saw the guy from the haunted house. He was on there. He was getting arrested. The next clips showed that the man had chainsaw, chains, and even some ropes. It's no telling what that creepy man was up to that night, but from the looks of it, it did not look good at all. I'm happy that me and my friends made it out of there alive. Halloween night had arrived, and I was excited for this because Halloween was always my favorite holiday. I remember when I was a kid, I would dress up in a costume and go trick or treating to get some candy. After my workout, I began to take a shower, and my mom was downstairs with my brother and sisters, asking if they wanted any Halloween cookies or desserts. As I got done taking my shower, I started to make my way downstairs as I heard a knock at the door. I looked out the peephole and saw that there was kids dressed up in Mario and Luigi costumes. So I grabbed the candy bowl and said, "Open," and I opened the door. To my surprise, the kids said, "Trick or treat." I said, "Here you go." The kids began to grab some candy out the bowl as I said, "Y'all have a good night and happy Halloween." I told my mom about the kids who came up to the door and how I liked their costume idea they had. And my mom started to ask, "Why don't you trick or treat anymore?" Which I began to explain as I heard a knock at the door and told my mom, "1 second." I answered the door to a group of teenagers all dressed up in Purge Squad masks. And they began to say, "Trick or treat." I let the teenagers reach inside the candy bowl and take some candy. As I closed the door, I began to explain why I do not trick or treat anymore. She laughed, and I laughed too, and I began to fill the candy bowl. As my sister and brother helped my mom make Halloween cookies for the family, I kept answering the door for new trick or treating people for hours until something strange had happened. As my mom was offering me and my siblings cookies, I looked outside the window and could see a group of teenagers which had on purge masks. All looked like the same ones who had came to our house to get candy not long ago. I seen these group of teenagers all standing in the road looking at my mom's house as if it was a piece of meat that a lion was about to eat. I started to stare back at those guys as the purge masked teenagers then began to look away and drove off. After hours of giving out candy, we decided to turn out the lights and put the candy up because the neighbors' lights were off and Halloween was basically over in an hour or so. I began to clean out the candy bowl and lock the door and help my mom clean up the house. After 30 minutes of cleaning, I heard a knock at the door and looked out the peephole and saw a little kid who was scared for his life. He was so scared that he looked like as if he was trying to pull off a prank, but he was too scared to pull it off. I ignored the door and started to tell my mom and siblings to ignore the door if anyone knocks. Just do not open the door for anyone. My family all said, "We know this." And am I going to sit back and relax and watch a scary movie with them? They asked. I replied and said, "Yeah, sure. What type of scary movies y'all got in mind?" Everyone said, "Halloween, the new Michael Myers movie." Me and my family began to watch Michael Myers movies. And I began to get something to drink because I got thirsty. As I was making my iced cup of water, I looked and saw that there was a car pulling up in our driveway, which was a black Honda Civic, which had the windows all tinted black, and saw a group of men get out the car holding baseball bats with a purge mask on. I looked for a little bit longer to see if those were the guys from earlier, and they were, to my surprise. I told my family to call 911, and my family called 911, as I told my mom, sister, and brother go upstairs and to lock the door, and do not answer for nobody, not even me. As my family rushed upstairs and locked the door, I began to turn out the lights and went to my garage and grabbed a baseball bat, which we had in the closet. As I heard the group of teenagers break into the front door, hearing glass go everywhere, I remember what my karate old coach used to say, Tico. He used to tell me, "Always face your fears. You will not have any if you face your fears." So I did. I waited patiently as a purge guy walked past me. I hit him in the kneecap and then proceeded to hit him in the head to knock him unconscious. As the other guy began to make his way down the same hallway I hit his friend, I heard the cop sirens, and the men began to run the other way, jumping out the window. After the men got away, we explained and told what happened to the cops. After a couple of hours, the men were found in a lake nearby, which they were trying to swim away from the cops, and all got caught and got arrested that same Halloween night. Be sure to like and subscribe if you like these type of videos. And most importantly, don't be scared. Subscribe.